Broadcasting more than 2,000 games live and archived in 15 sports in over 10 counties in western Pennsylvania, as well as being the exclusive home for all the WPIAL playoffs and championships for nearly 2 decades. Anytime, anywhere, always there. We are the new Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Welcome to exclusive coverage of the 2018 WPIAL basketball playoffs, only here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. The Path to the Peak at tribhssn.triblive.com is sponsored by UPMC Sports Medicine, home of the Stay Strong and Play On program. By Seton Hill University, This Way Up. By Excella Health, proud sponsor of the Trib High School Sports Network studios. By AstroTurf. By Carlow University, sponsor of the 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball Playoffs. And by Trib Total Media.
Good evening and welcome to the culmination of the WPIAL Girls Basketball season here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, as tonight from the Petersen Events Center at the University of Pittsburgh, we bring to you the girls' 6A championship game between number 1 seed North Allegheny and number 2 Peters Township. I'm Sean Meyers here alongside James Dotson on the call. And James, the undefeated North Allegheny Tigers come in the top seed, the defending champs in the 6A classification, arguably the top team in the entire state. They're the favorites, but number 2 Peters Township could be poised for an upset if this weekend's any indication.
Well, and just today, you have 2 undefeated teams already going down. Class 3A girls, Bishop Canevin takes down the undefeated East Allegheny Wildcats, and then the game right after, Quaker Valley undefeated, they lose to Newcastle in a rematch. So undefeated teams not exactly looking great today, Sean, but this is the North Allegheny team that's trying to do something hasn't been done in girls basketball since Norwin a couple years ago. They went undefeated back in 2015-16, and ironically, they defeated North Allegheny here at the Pete to go undefeated.
North Allegheny comes in 24-0 here in 2017-18, winning their section with a mark of 10-0. On the other side, Peters Township 21-3, 9-1 to claim first place in their section, that being Section 3, the Tigers, out of Section 1. When you talk about Peters Township, James, you talk about one player first and foremost. That's McKenna Marissa. She's been terrific in her junior campaign. She has, averaging over 23 points per game, and she's been described by Coach Burt Kendall as almost like a 6-foot point guard is what she could be, but they have her working in other facets of the game as well. She'll sometimes go down low. She'll work mid-range. She can do a little bit of everything, and that's really opened the way for a freshman point guard coming in Jordan Bizignani, and she, along with the rest of the team, has really just grown with confidence over the course of this season, and really the team's come into full fruition here in the latter half of the campaign. Burt Kendall, the head coach for Peters Township, year number 5. No title wins for the Indians, however. Burt Kendall has some experience when he was an assistant at Bethel Park, a 2013 trophy for him. On the other side, Spencer Stefko certainly knows what it takes to win a WPIAL title. He's done it several times. Last year with North Allegheny, previously twice with Seton LaSalle. He's guiding the Tigers, and unlike Peters Township, there's 4 or 5 girls that can hurt you at any given time for North Allegheny. And from all facets as well, inside, outside. Good balance all around, but the defense is something that they really pride themselves on with North Allegheny as they made it to their path to the Pete with a really impressive win against Mount Lebanon. They had a terrible shooting night, did the Tigers, and yet they still won by 14 points on a 34-40, or 34-20, I should say, semifinal game. So they really clamped down defensively. They will do whatever it takes, offense, defense, whatever they need to do to win a game, and that's with a lot of teams trying to slow down the game against them. I think Peters Township is going to try to run. When you have someone like McKenna Marissa who can put points on the board, I think you will be seeing a higher scoring game, definitely higher scoring in the 5A girls game that we had earlier today. The final score of that one, 29-27. That in favor of the Gateway Gators. This is championship game number 11 out of 12 here on this great 3-day extravaganza at the Petersen Events Center at the University of Pittsburgh. And now we're going to turn it over to our PA announcer for the national anthem, followed by the starting lineups here tonight.
In an educational setting, by meeting the challenge of sportsmanship in the stands, you are providing a sound example for students, as well as representing your community and school with dignity and pride. Please give the student athletes involved your positive encouragement and support. The WPIAL wishes everyone a positive, exciting, and meaningful championship experience. Any rebroadcast or reproduction of this event without the express written consent of the WPIAL is strictly prohibited. We ask that you all rise as we honor America as Molly Papp, a senior from Norwin High School, leads us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Molly Papp, everybody.
Now we'll turn it over once again to our colleague
The
Don
following
Rebel
contest
for
is
the starting lineup
2018
introductions.
WPIAL Girls Class 6A Championship. And it pits the North Allegheny Tigers with a record of 24-0 in victories over Upper St. Clair and Mount Lebanon on the path to the Pete, against the Peters Township Indians with a record of 21-3 with victories over Hempfield and Bethel Park on their path to the Pete. Let's meet the starting lineups first for the Peters Township Indians. A 5'5" freshman, number 2, Jordan Bizignani. A 5'10" senior, number 10, Lillian Young. A 5'11" junior, number 21, Isabella Mills. 5'7" senior, number 22, Olivia Ziegler. And a 5'11" junior, number 20, McKenna Marissa. The head coach of the Peters Township Indians, Bert Kendall. And now for the North Allegheny Tigers. A 5'8" senior, number 13, Courtney Roman. A 5'10" freshman, number 32, Lizzie Gretsch. A 5'11" senior, number 55, Madeline Fisher. A 5'9" junior, number 14, Rachel Martindale. And a 6' senior, number 21, Piper Morningstar. The head coach of the North Allegheny Tigers, Spencer Stefko.
Great introduction, as always, by Dawn Rebel, doubling as the PA announcer this weekend, along with Sam Hall at the Pete. Once again, Sean Meyers and James Dotson here on the call on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. And as the teams get set for the opening tip, James, there's an interesting connection between some players and coaches in this game.
There is. Back in 6th grade, AAU team, Bryn Serban and Rachel Martindale played on an AAU team. Those two played for North Allegheny. They played with McKenna Marissa on this AAU team that was coached by none other than Spencer Stefko, the North Allegheny coach. And they got to practice a few times here at the Petersen Events Center. But how about this, too? The entire team of Peters Township got the experience here. It normally goes to a West Virginia team camp at the beginning of the year. They came to the Pitt camp this year. And as Coach Burt Kendall said, we're going to start the year at the Pete, and we want to finish the year at the Pete. Well, they've gotten here to the Petersen Events Center for the WPIAL Championship just like they wanted. Now they want to bring home the gold.
Marissa and Morningstar for the opening tip. It is controlled by North Allegheny and Courtney Roman as Roman gets it ahead to Martindale. Her first shot blocked, however, as Marissa comes up with the basketball. Peters Township, right to left as we see it, clad in the red jerseys with the black numbers. North Allegheny wearing the home whites as the higher seed with the black numbers. Marissa backs the basketball onto the Pitt logo. She's covered tightly by Morningstar. You mentioned how suffocating this defense can be for the Tigers. To that point, they nearly force a steal. Contested shot rattles home for Lillian Young. Degree of difficulty high, but Peters Township on the board.
Yeah, the Edinburgh commit able to get it to fall even through some traffic. A little hometown roll, hometown touch. Maybe you got that from the preseason.
The drive inside for North Allegheny. Goes for 2 points, courtesy of the freshman Lizzie Gretsch, hoping to make it a golden weekend for the Gretsch family. Her brother, Dave, captured gold yesterday for Sewickley Academy's boys team.
So it does feel like we've been saying the name Gretsch a lot here this weekend for two very different teams.
Now Peters Township with the basketball in the half-court set. Ziegler looking for the handoff, throws it to McKenna. Marissa right back to Ziegler. Three-pointer rattles out. Basketball tipped around out of bounds. It will go to North Allegheny.
Yeah, good look there. I like the quick back and forth passing, get it right back, get the defense moving, and open look from downtown. Just could not quite get it to fall there for Ziegler.
Rachel Martindale, the leading scorer for North Allegheny, just over 15 points per game. She's a great basketball player. She also is a tremendous softball player. Her original commitment to Pitt, however, negated. Now she's looking to play basketball at the next level as the Tigers add a three-pointer from the corner, courtesy of Courtney Roman. It's 5-2 in favor of the undefeated North Allegheny squad.
We'll talk about this more, but Roman kind of worked her way into the starting rotation and has now stayed there with the injury to Bryn Serban. Serban will play tonight. She's missed most of the year, but they'll be alternating and go almost 10 deep, will the Tigers.
Marissa double team, finds a teammate open underneath. Up for 2 points is Ziegler. That makes it 5-4, and a good job passing out of that double team by Marissa.
Yeah, exactly, and splitting the double team and not panicking, knowing she has 5 seconds and finding the open player.
Morningstar for 3. That one off iron, tipped around by Fisher, and Morningstar runs it down. Now the basketball out of bounds. The officials confer. They say it stays with North Allegheny. Your 3 officials in this one, James, it's Dara Loftian, John Palco, and David Lawrence.
A tough one there, right in front of the Peters Township student section, so they, of course, are going to let the officials hear it right off the bat.
Fisher, pull-up jumper, rattles home. Friendly iron for Madeline Fisher as she gets on the board, extending the lead to 7-4 for North Allegheny.
And 3 players with the 3 baskets in the early going for North Allegheny. Now almost a steal for Fisher.
Young able to come up with the loose ball. It leads to a 3-point attempt. That off the mark, and the rebound corralled by Martindale. Martindale's drive cut off. Now she moves it up top. The Morningstar, good ball fake as she backs her way in and dishes to the corner. Now a baseline drive for Lizzie Gretsch. 2 points for her. She's quickly on the board with a pair of field goals.
And I like the pump fake and just not cutting off the baseline, though, for Peters Township. Made it a really easy path to the basket for the freshman.
All 5 starters for North Allegheny average 8 or more points.
What was the over-under on the jacket?
Yeah, Stefko, the head coach for NA, he is one of the more animated coaches you'll see at any level of athletics, as a difficult shot by Young off the mark, and the rebound goes to Fisher underneath.
And we had the joke of how long he would keep that jacket on. In less than 3 minutes into the ball game, he's lost the jacket. Now we wait for the tie.
Morningstar wide open. She's a dangerous perimeter shooter, misses everything, but an offensive rebound by Gretsch, who seems to be everywhere in the early going. Back to Morningstar. This time she drives, backs her way along the baseline. Pass was tipped out of bounds, and will stay with the Tigers.
Yeah, try to think to be a little too fancy with that pass. Was double teamed, even triple teamed there in the paint. And we're going to have a timeout quickly here for Peters Township as they trail in the early going.
4:31 remaining, quarter number one. It is 9-4 in favor of North Allegheny.
Remind you that this game and the broadcast rights to this game are the sole and exclusive property of the WPIAL and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Any broadcast of this game is intended exclusively for the benefit of the listening audience, and any use, rebroadcast, or distribution of this broadcast without the express written consent of the WPIAL and the Trib Live High School Sports Network is strictly prohibited.
You see Burt Kendall talking to his squad, Spencer Stefko doing the same. We mentioned the title success for Stefko. Third year at North Allegheny. He's guided the Tigers to the championship all 3 years. The first time they lost in a heartbreaker in overtime to Norwin. Knocked off Bethel Park 50-39 last year to surprisingly win the first ever WPIAL girls basketball title in school history.
With an asterisk to that one, as the 1972 champions, that was the Western Girls Basketball Association. The year before it officially became a WPIAL sanctioned sport.
And of course, prior to that, 2 years, 2 championships for Stefko, guiding Seton LaSalle. What a Rebels team that was. Before that, he had success at Chartiers Valley as well.
We have a pause in the action as there's a discussion at the scorers table. Remind you, these two teams played not too long ago, Sean, back on the 8th of February in a non-section game. It was a close contest throughout most of it, but then North Allegheny pulled away late to a 13-point advantage in the end. Knocked down 12 three-pointers in that game, and you heard when we were talking to Coach Kendall before the game that obviously, that's something that they need to try to do better on, is closing out on those three-point shots. And also we've seen all weekend, the outside shot, much more difficult to do when you have the open space around the gymnasium here at the Pete versus what you normally see.
And a substitution for North Allegheny. The Tigers wanted to bring Bryn Serbin into the contest. Now, for some reason, she's forced to stay at the table.
She must not have checked in before the first horn sounded.
Serbin had started a number of games throughout her career at NA, now coming off the bench, and that seems to be a role well suited for her as Roman misses everything on a three-point attempt. Tipped around by Gretsch. Morningstar runs it down. Now a straight-on three-pointer. That shot by Martindale comes up short, but Fisher snags the rebound. Great job on the glass for North Allegheny. Now a drive inside by Martindale. A foul committed by Peters will send her to the charity stripe. Rebounding was the other key for Coach Burt Kendall thus far. That has not worked in favor of Peters Township.
Well, it's 6-1 in favor of North Allegheny, and 4 of those 6 are on the offensive glass. So, and I really like on that play, too, as you see Martindale get hacked. She missed the 3. There was a 3 missed earlier in the possession. She says, enough with that. Let's go and get some easy points. Go to the rack, get fouled, get a couple free throw attempts.
Now Serbin legally checks into the contest. The personal charge to Ziegler. The first foul of this game as Martindale strokes both foul shots, extending her team's lead to 11-4. NA plays some pressure defense. Indians able to throw the basketball over the top, however. Now a drive inside. Shot off of glass, no good, but a follow-up opportunity by Lillian Young. High off of the backboard for 2 points. That makes it 11-6, and now a dose of their own medicine as North Allegheny could not corral the defensive rebound.
And that's big right there. I like the drive to the lane initially, but then even better, getting the offensive bound and put it right back up and in.
Gretsch to Morningstar off a front iron and in. Piper Morningstar gets her first points, and all 5 starters now on the score sheet for North Allegheny.
What do we say? Balance? That's the key, and that's exactly what they have right now. 2 points, 3 points, or 4 points for all 5 starters for the Tigers.
A little more than 4.5 minutes into this contest. The Tigers more than doubling up their adversary. Basketball tipped off of North Allegheny, so it stays with Peters Township.
And every time Marissa's coming across the court, North Allegheny is immediately rushing 2 defenders at her to double her and try to get the ball out of her hands. Averaging 23 points per game, not a bad strategy to try to keep it away from her as much as possible.
She has the basketball now. Pull-up jumper, no defense for that. She's on the board. McKenna Marissa averaging 23 points per game and 9 rebounds as well.
And that's exactly it right there, Sean, is that even with a hand interface, she makes a tough shot look easy. You got to try to contest as much as possible.
Morningstar double-teamed. Passes to Serbin. Serbin lets a 3 fly, and it banks in from a difficult angle. That wasn't the game plan, I don't think, for Serbin, but she'll take it.
I thought the banks closed early on Saturday. I guess not. Bryn Serbin allowed to keep them open early.
3-point attempt the other way, off the mark, and Gretsch corrals the rebound.
She's got 3 bounds already and is really controlling the glass.
Now she's going to take a straight-on 3, and Gretsch strokes it, making a massive impact. 7 points already for the freshman. She's certainly not playing like one.
No, not at all. And there's a lot of confidence. Mentioned confidence for the freshman for Peters Township, but a lot of freshmen for Lizzie Gretsch, and that's probably from having to play against older brother a little bit as well.
Marissa moves the basketball to Ziegler. Suffocating defense on her by Martindale. Now it's Mills. She gets it back to Marissa, who back it out and reset.
There's the defense all in your face, pressure defense for North Allegheny, not allowing many points at all this year.
Difficult step back shot, misses everything. Offensive rebound. Now the basketball's tipped around. Peters Township comes up with it. Mills takes a long 3, that one off the mark, and Fisher clears the glass.
Fisher says enough with that. Go up and get the loose ball as quickly as possible. Get it at its highest point.
Martindale for 3, off of the iron. Morningstar comes up with it. Now she's stripped of the basketball. It's on the floor. And the whistle blows.
I believe they're going to get a foul call here.
Peters Township. Indeed, it is the first foul against North Allegheny and on Piper Morningstar.
Right now, just rebounds completely in favor by an 8-3 margin in favor of North Allegheny. Just really tough when you're getting second and third opportunities, and really that's where you've seen the best opportunities on the other end for Peters Township is when they've had that second chance, but just couldn't convert on that last trip.
Very deep North Allegheny team sometimes goes 10 players deep as Marissa strokes the 3-pointer.
Little crossover, little step back, behind the back dribble, nothing but net from the top of the key.
That makes the score 19-11. Morningstar was looking to get the pass back door. Instead, it's Martindale from 6 feet, and she strokes it.
That was a very difficult shot she made look very easy. I like the idea on the backdoor cut. It was there for a moment, but not wanting to force the pass too early in the possession. I like the patience there by the Tigers.
It was the recently inserted Audrey Lane who made that pass, and now Marissa answers the other way. She's starting to heat up, James.
And that one, not from beyond the arc, but just steps right in, about a 12-foot jumper. And if she can get that penetration, especially if they run that double team, if she splits that double team, then the ball is completely in her control to do whatever she wants to do, and that's where things can get really dangerous.
21-13 in favor of North Allegheny. Just over 20 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. We play 4 8-minute quarters here at the high school level. We should note the 3-point line in effect here tonight for the high school games is the blue line, not the deeper white line. Morningstar drives, ball fake, off of glass. What a take. Rachel Martindale's been terrific here. And now the final seconds tick off. Desperation heave, misses the mark. North Allegheny holding a 10-point lead after the first 8 minutes. It's 23-13 in favor of the Tigers. We'll step aside. We'll get you back for quarter number 2. You are watching 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball Championships, sponsored by Carlow University. It's here. It's on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
People ask what drives me. It's the respect I have for my opponents, the trust I have in my teammates, a coach who treats me with dignity, and a university that has faith in me on and off the field. That's what keeps me focused, why I practice harder, play my heart out. I play to win. I play for Carlo. Tell us your story using #WhatDriveSYou.
Carlo University is a proud sponsor of the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Just about set to begin quarter number 2 here at the Petersen Events Center. I'm Sean Meyers alongside James Dotson. The 6A girls WPIAL title game. After one quarter, it's North Allegheny holding a double-digit lead, 23-13 against Peters Township. And if you're the Indians playing against the undefeated Tigers, probably maybe a little bit of doubt could creep into the mind of some of these girls after this poor start.
Yeah, they need a big possession here coming right out of the quarter, because if they get too far behind, it could spell trouble.
Marissa provides the points. McKenna Marissa on the jumper makes it 23-15.
And she's got 9 of those 15 points for the Lady Indians.
Martindale tries to answer, but the shot short. Long rebound tipped around, and ultimately it was Ziegler who corralled it for Peters Township.
Good job, too, defensively. Quick shot taken, maybe a little bit too early in the possession, but able to go and get the defensive rebound for Peters Township. And really, that's what they need to do, is more on the rebounding. Out-rebounded 8-4 in the opening quarter.
Marissa running all around the court and tightly covered by Bryn Serbin. Again, Serbin has starting experience as the basketball is on the floor, and it's picked up by North Allegheny as Gretsch comes in with the left-handed layup for 2.
The steal and the lay-in, she's got 9. That was the first turnover of the game for either team, Sean Meyers. Very cleanly played game on the offensive end.
Ziegler with the basketball up top. She backs it out, covered by Rachel Martindale. Now the basketball stolen by Gretsch, and she's fouled.
As soon as I say that, back-to-back steals for Gretsch. And that one just getting in trouble there going on the sideline was Ziegler, kind of forced to the sideline by Martindale right in front of the North Allegheny bench. Just to try to keep it in bounds, had to throw it and threw it right into the gut of Gretsch, and that's the second foul as well against Ziegler.
As Ziegler checks out of the contest, Isabella Korcher into the game, a freshman guard for Peters Township.
These freshmen got to grow up quickly, I'll tell you what. 3, they're going to be getting a lot of playing time here today for these two squads.
Zone defense applied here by Peters Township. As Fisher catches and quickly moves the basketball to the perimeter. That three-point attempt woefully short by Roman, and the rebound goes to Peters Township. Marissa with the basketball. A lot of times she starts a possession about 40 feet away from the cup, James.
And she needs to do that, just to have enough space, but all you need is a couple of inches, and look what she can do.
Knocks down a baseline jumper. She's already in double digits in this game. That makes it 25-17. The Tigers lead trimmed now to 8.
See if the Tigers go back to that inside-out offense. You've been seeing it a lot, getting it down to Fisher, who will quickly put it back out to the perimeter. A good way to beat against the zone defense is working it down low and getting to the high post.
Serbin drives inside. Beautiful feed underneath the Fisher. She had the seal, missed the point-blank shot. Peters Township comes up with the basketball. It's Marissa one-on-one against Martindale. She soars in off of glass for 2.
And just like that, a bit of a run here for Peters Township starting this quarter. 6-2 run and cuts that lead that was 10 down now to 6.
Although the Tigers realize they got a good shot the other way, and more times than not, that's one that Fisher will knock down.
Well, and that's a 4-point swing, exactly. So that's where more than anything, the momentum change because of that little sequence.
Serbin gets it inside to Gretsch, and she dishes out to Martindale. Thought about a 3, now moves it to Serbin. She drives into the paint, dishes to Fisher once more. Fisher had to slow it down as the pass was a bit behind her. Roman drives in, and good defense by Marissa, forcing the jump ball. Possession arrow does keep it with North Allegheny. 5:02 remaining in quarter number 2.
The 2 ways that you beat a zone defense is ball movement and pump fakes, driving the lane. And that's exactly what North Allegheny is doing. They just haven't been able to complete a play on these last couple possessions.
Basketball tipped, but Fisher able to snag it. She'll be playing collegiately at Seton Hill in Greensburg. We'll talk about Seton Hill a little bit as this broadcast progresses, as the three-pointer rims out and the rebound goes to Peters Township's Lillian Young.
And a lot of really good chances from the outside. Martindale must feel like there's a lid on that basket. 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and a lot of them been in and out just like that one was.
Marissa trying to drive is fouled. Just the second team foul against North Allegheny.
Foul number 3, Bryn Serbin.
It's going to go against Bryn Serbin. 2 team fouls for each of these squads. So, again, very clean game in terms of turnovers, in terms of fouls, in terms of everything here in the early going. But really, it's been the McKenna Marissa show in the early going. 13 of her team's 19 points.
Mills with the basketball. Marissa trying to set a screen for her as the basketball nearly went into the backcourt. Swarming defense here by the Tigers. Now a baseline drive, partially blocked. Great defense by North Allegheny. Serbin comes up with the basketball.
Yeah, Morningstar was going to get credit for that block and the rebound.
Martindale hands off to Morningstar. Now weave action to Serbin. She dishes out. Rachel Martindale's three-pointer, a bit strong. Tipped out, great job getting a fingertip on that by Serbin. That allows Martindale to pull up, also off the mark, however.
And good
now
job
a collision.
For that rebound, too.
Fisher goes down to the floor. Peters Township numbers if the Indians push, and they do, prompting a foul against North Allegheny.
And I like it. Any chance that they can, Peters Township is going to run the court. They're going to try to get back before the defense can get set up for North Allegheny because they like to run a couple of different players at you. And Piper Morningstar with the reach and foul, that's actually her second. So we'll see. I think she's likely going to check out of the ball game as well. Roman will check back in for her.
Morningstar primarily does her work on the perimeter offensively, but at 6 foot, she certainly has the long arms to make a difference on the boards as well. Gretsch playing some strong defense. Pass down low to Marissa on the block. She can't get the shot to go. Basketball tipped out of bounds. Last off of North Allegheny. Good job, Lillian Young, battling on the offensive glass for Peters Township.
Yeah, they as in the North Allegheny fans, asking for over the back, but there was no box out, so Young can just go right over the top of Roman without making any contact. Ball last touched by Roman out of bounds.
And beautiful inbound play leads to an and one for Isabella Mills. Her first points of the game, and she's going to have a chance to make it a three-point play and pull her team potentially within one possession.
And that was actually Erin Gummersback who caught the inbound pass and put it straight down back to the block for the assist and the chance at the and one.
That shot off the mark, however, for Mills. The score remains 25-21 in favor of NA. Serbin to Fisher. Now Gretsch drives and kicks. Roman wide open, and she strokes it. Courtney Roman's second field goal, both from distance, makes it 28-21 Tigers.
Kind of the silent assassin, Courtney Roman, the starter maybe that is least talked about for this North Allegheny team, but quietly, if you can say that, puts up nearly 10 points per game.
Two defenders paying attention to Marissa. That leaves an open jumper that time for Ziegler, but she can't convert. Martindale throws ahead to Roman. She's hot from distance. That time can't get it to go, but an offensive rebound to put back nearly down for Lizzie Gretsch. She's fouled and will head to the line.
And Lizzie Gretsch just knows how to crash the offensive boards. 3 offensive rebounds already here, Sean. She, especially in transition like that, get a quick shot up. You can get your offensive players with some speed coming into the lane, and with that be able to go and get a second chance opportunity, in this case free throws.
First foul shot rattles out as both teams bring in substitutes. Lane comes in for NA. Back to the floor, Ziegler for Peters Township.
As you mentioned, North Allegheny a little bit deeper. They'll go about 10 deep. You'll see 7 or 8 maybe for Peters Township today.
Second foul shot is stroked by Gretsch, making the score 29-21.
Gretsch now with 10, first Tiger in double figures here tonight.
Going against Mills is Gretsch. Mills drives baseline. That's a difficult shot, but she knocks it down. Isabella Mills, 4 points now, all in the quarter.
Well, the M&Ms, Marissa and Mills, are going to have to do a lot of that. Get into the lane, tough little floaters like that, any chance they can. And I also want to see them dominate on the glass, but so far combined, only 2 rebounds where they both average 8 or 9 per game.
Foul committed by Peters Township. Looks like Gummer's back the guilty party.
Foul number 32, Aaron Gummer.
2 players as well, McKenna Marissa and Isabella Mills, to be playing hoops at the next level. Marissa with some offers from around here. Pitt, Duquesne, as well as Cincinnati, Villanova, St. Joseph's, Ball State. Mills is getting recruited as well. Still in the early going for the junior in terms of where she might end up, though.
And Marissa could continue her career on this same floor. Three-pointer. Guess who? Courtney Roman. She stays red hot. She now has 9 points.
Already matching her season average here in the first half as we hit the 2-minute mark in the quarter.
Drive the other way by Mills, off the mark. Basketball out of bounds. It stays with Peters Township. Sean Meyers, James Dotson here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 2:01 remaining in quarter number 2. North Allegheny looking to stay undefeated here in 2017-18. Marissa, difficult three-pointer. That one off a front iron, and Bryn Serbin gets the rebound.
May have rushed that one there, did Marissa.
Morningstar gets it from Serbin. Wide open underneath. Audrey Lane misses the first, follows her miss, puts it back up and in. Audrey Lane on the board for North Allegheny off of the bench.
And if you don't succeed at first, go and try again, because you're getting these offensive rebounds, and that's, I think, real big right there. And especially you miss it, everybody's flying by for the block. You're sitting right there under the block to be able to get the next try.
Beautiful feed down low to Ziegler, but she's stripped. Morningstar comes up with the basketball. And now Gretsch fouled on the reach-in by Isabella Mills.
Good active hands defensively. We've seen it all game long. We take a look at the replay here. Good pass down low. Look at the hands coming across there for Lizzie Gretsch in a bad defensive possession. And how about keeping the dribble alive?
Great hands by both Tigers there.
Great hands all around. Active hands defensively all throughout the game so far, but all on display right on that play there.
1:15 remaining in the first half. Reminder, we will have interviews with both coaches during halftime. Our colleague Josh Roundtree getting ready to talk to Spencer Stefko. Difficult shot by Rachel Martindale, but no defense for that. And she stays red hot. It's 36-23 North Allegheny. Now a feed back door. Mills can't hit the point blank offering. North Allegheny the rebound the other way. Serbin. Quick trigger three. Off the mark. Ziegler comes up with it. Now Ziegler's pass tipped. Out of bounds. Who's it off of? It's off of Ziegler. Great defense by Bryn Serbin.
And after making maybe a rush shot there for Serbin, she comes right in, makes a defensive play. It all is based off of the defense first, Sean. That's the way this North Allegheny team is built. And that's just it right there. Showing the heart, not pouting as I'm going back the other way because I missed a shot, but going and making a play right away and getting possession back to my team.
Fisher back onto the floor for North Allegheny. Gretsch with the basketball. Gummers back defending her. And Serbin now has it. So look like Coach Stefko wants the final shot here already, James?
Yeah, and I think that's not a bad idea when you have a double-digit lead, and especially the way your defense is played. Peters Township already scored more points in this game than North Allegheny allowed all in their quarterfinal or semifinal game.
Gretsch with the basketball. She's been terrific in this first half. Bounce pass, and we have a foul called. And it goes against North Allegheny.
They're going to get it against Serbin, so she now has 2 fouls. She'll check out. Little offense-defense here. And now Peters Township with 6 seconds has a chance to get down the court for the final shot.
Didn't see what the foul was there as Marissa has the basketball. She's going to get a good look here. The little floater off the rim and off the mark as the first half comes to an end. North Allegheny holding a sizable lead. It is 36-23 in favor of the Tigers over Peters Township. And momentarily, we're going to talk to head coach Spencer Stefko. But, James, that had to be a pretty good first half of play for the Tigers holding a double-digit lead.
It is, and they want a chance to get the last shot, no doubt about it. But we're not able to get so, and that's exactly why Coach is talking right now. Now we'll send it down to Josh Roundtree with Coach Stefko.
Marissa, terrific player. How do you guys slow her down in the second half?
I got about 9 minutes to figure it out because what we did in the first half didn't work. I almost had a heart attack when she missed from shock. Listen, man, she's incredible, and she seems like the kind of kid who's going to play better on a big stage. And we got about 9 minutes to figure out how to deal with that because she's doing a great job.
Offensively, do you feel like maybe you guys have rushed it a little bit on the offensive side?
You know what? That's a fine line with us because sometimes that's when we're best. I feel like we have gotten pretty good stuff. And I don't know what it looks like on a monitor, but from the sideline, I didn't really feel like it was rushing. I feel like it's the way that we want to play. We're deep. We want to use 8 or 9 kids and get into other teams' benches. And if it's rushed, the kids will tell me when I walk in. I usually give them 3 minutes on their own. By the time I walk in, they'll say, "Hey, we're rushing things." We got a pretty responsible group.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right.
Guys, back up to you.
Josh Roundtree, our colleague, with the interview with head coach Spencer Stefko. We appreciate that. As we head to the break, the score once again 36-23 in favor of North Allegheny over Peters Township. We'll be back to give the score and recap and our thoughts. It's 2018 WPIAL 6A Girls Basketball Championship sponsored by Carlow University. It's here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 380 Discount Warehouse in Murraysville carries a full line of brand new furniture at discount pricing. 380 Discount Warehouse carries Ashley, Liberty, Vaughn Bassett, and Best Home Furniture, and many more. You can special order your furniture at discount pricing. While you're there, shop the many other departments, including tools, automotive, food, pet and wildlife, household goods and cleaning supplies, lawn and garden, and seasonal holiday decor. Visit them on the web at shop380.com or on the road at Route 380 in Murraysville. Open Tuesday through Sunday 9 to 5. Shop 380 Discount Warehouse and save big.
Check out the new Trib Live High School Sports Network on social media this season for breaking news, scores, pictures, videos, links to our articles, and more. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram under the handle Trib Live HSSN. Get in the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/Trib Live HSSN. And on our YouTube channel, you can find thousands of interviews with local student athletes and coaches, plus highlights and full games. The spot for Western Pennsylvania high school sports on social media this season is the new Trib Live High School Sports Network.
For a weekly in-depth look at boys and girls high school basketball in the district, log on to the WPIAL Round Ball Report every Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Join experts Chris Harlan, Sean Meyers, and James Dotson for coaches' interviews and the latest hoops news around the WPIAL. Oh, and Don Rebel is back on the show as well. That's the WPIAL Round Ball Report, Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. While the weather outside may be frightful, the winter high school sports is delightful. That's here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Log on to the Trib, hssn.triblive.com for weekly audio and video coverage of boys and girls high school basketball, WPIAL wrestling, and PIHL high school hockey. The warmth and the glow of the winter sports season may be heard daily on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
We have reached halftime here at the Petersen Events Center. I'm Sean Meyers alongside my broadcast colleague James Dotson. North Allegheny, the number 1 seed, undefeated Tigers, trying to make it 25-0 and repeat as 6A champions, holding a 36-23 lead over number 2 Peters Township. James, before we get into the scoring recap, your quick analysis of what we saw.
Well, I really like what Coach Stefko said, is that, maybe we are a bit rushed at times, but that's the way that we play. I really liked also that he's going to go, he lets the kids talk first. These are, young ladies who are growing up really quickly, and they know a lot about what they know is working, what's not working, and if you're able to communicate that back and forth with your kids, I think that's really important. So I was really interested to hear that. But I think more than anything, too, it's getting good looks. While he's saying they're not rushing shots, if the shots maybe are not the best ones possible in a sequence, that's the only thing that really North Allegheny could really complain about, because they forced 4 turnovers. They only have 1 on their end in the entire half. For Peters Township, I think you got to get more Isabella Mills involved in this ball game. McKenna Marissa doing a great job, but Mills has shown she can get to the rack as well any chance she wants to. It's getting a little bit more of that balance maybe, and then that can open things up even more for your star player.
I want to thank Coach Spencer Stefko for joining Josh Roundtree for the halftime interview, sponsored by Carlow University, proud sponsor of all girls athletics here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Momentarily, we will talk to Bert Kendall as well, who will be joined by Josh. But before we get to that, James, let's look at the scoring recap. It's brought to you by UPMC Sports Medicine, which is powering the Stay Strong and Play On program with the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Starting with North Allegheny, Lizzie Gretsch, the freshman, leads the team with 10 points total. She also has 4 rebounds and 4 assists to her name. Next is 9 points for Courtney Roman, all in the trifecta. 3 for 6 from beyond the arc is Roman. 8 points for Rachel Martindale. 3 for Bryn Servant on a 3, and then 2 apiece for Audrey Lane, Piper Morningstar, and Madeline Fisher. Only 1 turnover in the game and shooting 5 for 14 from beyond the arc are the Lady Tigers. On the other end, for Peters Township, McKenna Marissa leading all scorers with 13 points, including 1 3-pointer and 4 twos. Next is Isabella Mills with 4, Lillian Young with 4, and Olivia Ziegler with 2 leading rebounders. Ziegler and Young each with 3 rebounds for Peters Township, who's currently being out-rebounded by a tally of 15-10.
That's the scoring recap brought to you by UPMC Sports Medicine, powering the Stay Strong and Play On program. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have an interview with Coach Bert Kendall. We'll also get you set for quarter number 3. 36-23, North Allegheny leading Peters Township in the 6A championship. It's 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball. It's the championship edition. It's sponsored by Carlow University here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Check out the new and improved Trib Live High School Sports Network website every day. Log on to tribhssn.triblive.com for all the schedules, the scores, the standings, great articles, and features from around the WPIAL. And, of course, live and archived broadcasts. If you are a high school sports fan, the only website you will need is the new Trib Live High School Sports Network at tribhssn.triblive.com.
People ask what drives me. It's the respect I have for my opponents, the trust I have in my teammates, a coach who treats me with dignity, and a university that has faith in me on and off the field. That's what keeps me focused, why I practice harder, play my heart out. I play to win. I play for Carlow. Tell us your story using #WhatDriveYou.
Carlow University is a proud sponsor of the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
This is the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Sean Meyers alongside James Dotson here at the half. 36-23 in favor of North Allegheny over Peters Township. And now we're going to turn it over to our broadcast colleague, Josh Roundtree, talking with head coach Bert Kendall of Peters Township.
All right, Bert, they shot about 50% in that first half. How do you slow that down?
Yeah, well, it's a game of averages, so we got to hope that maybe in the second half they don't shoot as well. But they're getting some open looks. We still got to get out on them, but we'll see what we can do.
You told us before the game that three-point shooting and rebounding was key. They knocked down a few threes. They out-rebounded you, I think, by 10 in that first half. What did you tell your team at halftime as far as adjustments there?
First time you've been here, you played nervous, you played a little tight. Nothing to lose now. Go out and do what I know you can do, and we'll rebound better this half.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Sean, James, back up to you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Coach Kendall, for that interview. Of course, brought to you by Carlow University, proud sponsor of all girls high school athletics here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. And we also want to let you know that if you're a working professional ready to move up in your career, Seton Hill University has a program just for you. Seton Hill's adult degree program offers flexible undergraduate degree courses in areas like accounting, criminal justice, business, and human services. The adult degree program has 5 start dates a year, offers convenient course times, financial aid, a 96% placement rate, and career services for life. Register for our next info session and learn more at setonhill.edu/ADP. Seton Hill University, this way up.
Sean, you know what? I think that's better than the commercial. I think we ought to have you record the next one.
Maybe I will. I'll talk to Mr. Rebel about that. How about Don Rebel and Sam Hall, PA announcing all weekend? They're going to have sore throats, I'm sure, when it's all said and done.
Well, hopefully not, because Don Rebel is going to be right where you're sitting here for the 6A Boys Championship game.
That is the final game of the 12. That's Penn Hills and Pine Richland, set for a 9 o'clock start. Of course, you can catch that one live here on the video broadcast, as well as all the games archived that we've had throughout the weekend. And you mentioned at the onset, some great games and some favorites have been upset.
They have. And just today, an undefeated East Allegheny, maybe not the favorite in the 1-2 matchup, but they led most of that game, lost down the stretch. Quaker Valley, undefeated all year. Newcastle, after losing them twice in the regular season, they come and take them down the stretch. So.
And some photo finishes as well.
Yes, we have. You had the Cardinal Ward North Catholic come from behind game last night in girls basketball.
Meyers hitting the shot at the buzzer, and then earlier today for Gateway, Jordan Edwards.
Jordan Edwards hits the only senior on the roster for Gateway, as they have a double-digit deficit in the last quarter, and they're able to come back and win. So if anything, we know for sure we might have a flair for the dramatics down the stretch.
Looking to add to the dramatics, McKenna Marissa misses a three-pointer. Morningstar out the other way, and she has that shot blocked out of bounds. Good recovery defense by Marissa she's averaging 2 blocks per game. So she misses on one end, but certainly made up for it on the other.
Yeah, you got to love that hustle. And just like we saw in the first half with Bryn Serban doing the exact same thing, coming back and making a good defensive play after missing the jump shot.
Fisher doing a good job ripping the basketball away. Now she gets inside, shot off of the rim. Gretsch comes soaring in for an offensive rebound. The putback up and good. Lizzie Gretsch has been a difference maker, 12 points for the freshman.
And 4 offensive rebounds, those putbacks, the second chance opportunities. I mean, you heard Coach say it right there. Coach Kendall said rebounding is key, we'll rebound better. Well, Lizzie Gretsch wants to prove him wrong.
Martindale tips the pass out of bounds. It stays with Peters Township. The Indians trying to get it to Ziegler, and a quick substitution as Gummer's back to the floor. What's maybe the decision behind getting her into the contest just 40 seconds into the third quarter?
Well, she provided a spark. She had some good passing, and it might just be that they want to sit the freshman down and say, hey, you got to box out better if they thought she was at fault for that offensive rebound maybe.
Marissa double-teamed, able to pass out of it to Gummer's back. Now Mills with the basketball. 21 guarding 21. Morningstar playing her. Now the handoff to Marissa. She gets it back to Mills. Open three-pointer. Off of the front iron. And a great job by Martindale to track it down, but then she throws the basketball away. Steal by Marissa. Steps into a three. That one off the mark. Offensive rebound by Peters Township. Shot doesn't go. Second opportunity for Isabella Mills. She's fouled. And that's something that's probably a great sign for Bert Kendall, is that his girl's now getting after it on the offensive glass.
But then you still need to ask more. You got to finish after one of those opportunities. And, you know, if you're not able to convert on the layup attempts, especially on the second opportunity, then, you could get 4 or 5 chances in a possession. That's fine. Still need to eventually convert. At least she gets fouled, does Mills, and has this chance to convert at the line, makes the first.
Second upcoming for Isabella Mills, averaging 13 points per game. Second shot off the mark for her.
Martindale grabbing her 3rd rebound of the game as well, coming down with that one.
Mills and first team all-section performer for Peters Township. It's a foul called the other way against Marissa.
And you also mentioned, why is Gummers back coming into the game that quickly? I mean, you also could have something where, we've seen with a few of the teams here at the championships where some are just better coming off the bench. On the other side, Bryn Serban, it just has the knack of coming off the bench, it feels like. Kind of gives a team a spark, especially for someone like her who missed a good chunk of the season.
Martindale step back three-pointer, a bit strong. Fisher tips it around, and Morningstar corrals it. Piper Morningstar to the cup, and she's fouled. Good take by Piper Morningstar.
And again, we saw that earlier with Rachel Martindale. After a missed three-pointer, gets a rebound and says, hey, I'm going to go and take this and get an easier-looking shot, and maybe if I don't finish, I can get to the line. And that's exactly what we have here now with Martindale, or with Morningstar this time, doing the exact same thing.
Morningstar converts the first. The foul charge to Ziegler, that's her 3rd.
Staying in the ball game, though, at this point. You need biggest weapons on the court now with a 16-point deficit.
So Morningstar, the Radford commit, knocks down both, extending the NA lead to 40-24, but right back the other way. Peters Township answers as Ziegler open underneath for 2 points.
And a good find, and I think there's lots of holes, especially when they're going and sending 2 players at the point guard and sending them at Marissa like that. If she can find the open people that quickly, that's going to be great.
Gretsch to the cup for 2.
Doesn't need much room, does Lizzie Gretsch. She is not playing like a freshman whatsoever. Game high 14 points now for the freshman, Lizzie Gretsch.
And there's certainly some seniors that make big contributions for North Allegheny, but the Tigers will have a core returning next year, and that's going to be scary for the rest of the WPIAL, that this team potentially could be even better. Tipped away by Fisher, one of the seniors who will be moving on after the campaign. North Allegheny looking for its 2nd consecutive title. Pass inside and a foul committed by Fisher as the Indians trying to get it into Lillian Young.
Yeah, Fisher a step behind, and she'll get the reach and foul. But, you can say the same thing for Peters Township. You got a couple of seniors in that starting rotation, but a freshman and a couple of juniors that helped get everything done. Nice cut off the inbounds.
And it leads to 2 points, beautifully executed as Mills on the finish.
She's got 7, and I said in the halftime of the M&Ms, it's Mills that needs to step up a little bit because that'll open things up for McKenna Marissa.
Gretsch with the left hand, try to feed it to Fisher, is tipped around. Martindale comes up with it and then was fouled immediately.
Yeah, Mills just a half step late as she was going down to reach for it, and with that, she's going to pick up the foul as a result. That's her 2nd.
3 losses for the Indians this season, one of which came against North Allegheny, also a 1-point setback against Mount Lebanon, and a loss to Bishop McDivitt by 4 points. Martindale inside, scoop shot off of glass. What a creative and crafty finish by Rachel Martindale.
And all it takes is that little hesitation right at the end of the play, Sean. That's all it is to get that little split second of room that she needs to be able to get that little lay-in with the underhand shot.
Gummersback leaves off to Ziegler. She thought about a 3, but thought better. Now McKenna Marissa with the basketball. Difficult 3-point shot off the mark, and the basketball goes out of bounds. That was good defense that time by North Allegheny, and now a defensive specialist in Serban re-enters the contest.
We're talking about the way that these teams are playing. It does not feel like North Allegheny has a lead the size that it is at 16 points right now. It really doesn't. Peters Township is playing pretty well, but just those couple little runs, a couple of putbacks, and next thing you know, it's a double-digit lead that just keeps getting extended, and that's what North Allegheny does to you. They go, they extend their lead, and they just keep playing in-your-face defense, and if you don't convert every time down the court, then you got to watch out because you'll end up finding yourself behind.
This North Allegheny defense surrendering just 38.1 points per game this season, averaging 57 offensively. On the other side for Peters Township, 53.5 points for, 45.0 points against. So we know that North Allegheny can get it done on both ends of the floor, but the defense has been, for the most part, pretty terrific here tonight.
It has, and 28 points is actually a high number for what they've given up through the postseason here this year. They gave up 32 against 26 against Upper St. Clair and 20 against Mount Lebanon. So already Peters Township has done something that nobody else has done against North Allegheny in these playoffs, and that's put up more than 26 points. At 28 right now, I mean, that's not exactly where you want to be, obviously, when you're averaging over 50 yourself, but still, NA plays solid defense. You know that, and now you got to try and just knock some shots down on the other end.
Gretsch was wide open on that possession, could not knock down the shot. Defensive rebound to Peters Township. Now a jump ball, as a good job by Gretsch getting her hands in with Gummersback, and the possession arrow gives it right back to the Tigers.
Man, again, the active hands and just quickly going and not seeing it all there. Gummersback did not see her coming and able again to get possession right back for her team.
A drive and a feed inside to Morningstar, and all sorts of traffic. Somehow she concocted that shot. Don't know how she even got it off, let alone made it, but she extends the lead to 46-28. Now a drive the other way, layup attempt off the mark, and a defensive rebound by Gretsch. Lizzie Gretsch across the timeline to Morningstar. Piper Morningstar. Now to Courtney Roman from the near side. That shot off a front iron. McKenna Marissa comes up with it. Now a push ahead for Peters Township. Mills misses everything. And Roman with the rebound, but a good job of Gummersback to reach in. The alternating possession gives it to Peters Township on the jump ball.
We mentioned Coach Bert Kendall has had some championship experience when he was an assistant. They won it in 2013, and they were runner-up at 2005 at Bethel Park, and he's brought a couple of those players onto the staff with him as assistants.
3-point attempt off the inbound, off the mark. Martindale corrals it. And talking about those assistants, Samantha Lodeman and daughter Katie Kendall.
Lodeman, one of the all-time greats at Mercyhurst.
Pull-up jumper by Martindale, short, but Fisher comes up with the rebound. Morningstar will try her luck from distance. She knocks it down. Piper, Morningstar's first trifecta. She's getting hot in the third quarter. The lead now 21 points for NA.
7 points in this quarter alone for Piper Morningstar, and she stepped into that one with confidence. That's been the word of the night and word of the season for each of these teams.
Ziegler, beautiful ball fake, the drive. She had Fisher fooled that time for 2 points.
And again, ball fakes always are key, especially when you're playing against a zone defense, or in this case, a defense where they're playing, man down because they've had 2 players up trapping at the top of the formation.
Good ball movement leads to Gretsch driving inside. That's far too easy for the freshman Lizzie Gretsch. She's up to 16.
And again, a little hesitation, a little pump fake, Sean, is all it takes, and you get enough space to drive baseline. But the freshman leading all scorers.
This game's starting to get away from Peters Township as the Indians turn it over. Martindale with the dribble all the way to the cup, loses the handle, but it's last touched by Peters Township 2:10 remaining in quarter number 3, and NA up by 21.
And you wouldn't know it, again, that they were up by 21 if you look at Coach Stefko in his 3rd season with the Tigers. Always animated, always wanting the best out of his players.
Quick trigger 3 by Martindale, nothing but net. Rachel Martindale, her first shot from distance.
Yeah, she missed her first 6 from downtown. Not that time, nothing but net.
Marissa's attempt a bit strong, offensive rebound by Mills. She can't get it to go, and Martindale comes up with the board. A 13-point lead for North Allegheny at halftime has swelled here in the 3rd quarter. Add 3 more. Piper Morningstar, red hot, 57-30. Complete dominance in this 3rd frame.
And you could tell as soon as that defensive rebound was hit, going down the court was Morningstar, spotting up in the corner. They found her in transition, and you knew that shot was going in before it was even taken. Timeout, Peters Township.
Full timeout. We'll take one as well. 57-30 in favor of North Allegheny with 1:34 remaining in quarter number 3. It's 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball Championship, sponsored by Carlow University. It's here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Hi, this is Josh Roundtree with the new Trib Live High School Sports Network's PIHL Power Play Show. This winter, myself and the coach, Kevin Zilmansky, will bring you the most comprehensive coverage of high school hockey in Western PA. Hey, Kevin, any suggestions on how we can pull it off?
We're not goons. We're not bullies. No matter what people say or do, we have to be ourselves.
Okay. Well, word is that you've been letting success go to your head a bit.
Hey, what I do is none of your business. Is that clear?
This should be a fun season. It's the PIHL Power Play Show every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on the new Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Cotton Eye Joe playing here at the Pete with the full timeout for Peters Township. It might already be too little too late, James, but what is Coach Kendall telling his squad here? He certainly wants to see them finish strong.
No, finish strong. If nothing else, look, get experience. I know you don't want to be already thinking about state playoffs, but you still need to know that, yeah, this is one of the best teams in the WPIAL, in the state, in the country. This is a nationally ranked team according to the USA Today. So, go play your heart out, and you know what? Enjoy it. You're at the Petersen Events Center. You're one of the best teams in all of WPIAL. Go show it. Go have a little fun with it and learn something. Get better each and every time you get out on the court.
So Peters Township facing a 27-point deficit. Now trying to trigger the basketball in. Millian Young has it. Drives and kicks. Gummer's back. Jumper from the baseline off the mark. Basketball on the floor. Who's going to come up with it? It'll be a jump ball. Possession arrow gives it to North Allegheny.
And if nothing else, confidence. Just build upon the confidence that you've built upon all year. Keep going. Keep playing your game. Shots will fall. You've had a bunch that have rattled out. And you're facing, again, one of the better defenses you've ever seen all year. You're likely going to face a team like this again in the state playoffs. This is the best time to prepare for it.
Serban, a beautiful feed to Lane, but she couldn't get the shot to go underneath. Now Marissa the other way, showing her great dribbling ability at her 5'11" height. Gets to the cup, can't hit the shot, but is fouled. And McKenna Marissa to the charity stripe.
Yeah, a 6-foot point guard is, I believe, the wording of the coaches going into this. And she uses those long strides. She accelerated even while dribbling past all the North Allegheny defenders. Really impressive with that, and she gets the first free throw to fall.
Using almost all the rim. Her first point of this second half. As Gretsch into the contest, Morningstar with her 3 fouls to the bench for North Allegheny. It's been a season of great strides for Peters Township. A year ago, 14-9, lost in the quarterfinals of the playoffs to Penn Hills as the second shot also stroked by Marissa. That makes it 57-32.
That was an overtime loss as well in the quarterfinals, and of not qualifying for the state tournament too as a result.
Both these teams already guaranteed a spot in the states. We'll discuss that later in this broadcast as Gretsch drives inside off a front iron, but she's hacked.
Good job getting into the lane. Little ball fake, get a little space, and that's all it takes. And if you can get in there, and at that point you get a reach in, you get a hack, and you get a chance for 2 free throws. And this is a team, again, that they'll want to be shooting free throws all night long. If they're not shooting 70 or 80% from the charity stripe, well, they're going to be very disappointed.
Did you happen to hear, was that Mills that was charged with the foul?
I think it was.
I'll have to tell Don Rebel to speak up a little bit. Second foul shot up and good for Gretsch. That makes the lead 59-32. Marissa to the cup, and this time she gets the shot off and converts it.
She's got 17, and that's where Coach Stefko can be saying the same thing. Hey, we can't let up. We can't just give an easy path to the basket like that, not to their best player.
30 seconds remaining in quarter number 3, a quarter that has been dominated by North Allegheny. Martindale with the ball fake, gets it to Roman. She'll fire it. Everyone's hitting threes now for the Tigers.
Let it rain, let it rain. Fourth player in double figures, Courtney Ronan, now 4 of 8 from beyond the arc.
That makes it 62-34. Final 10 seconds. Inside for Young, has it swatted away.
By who? Ms. Gretsch, doing it all.
And Gretsch, maybe the only freshman mistake she's made all night, looked to make a pass as the final seconds ticked off the clock. 62-34, North Allegheny dominating after 3 quarters. We'll step aside when we come back. Quarter number 4 here from the Pete. It's 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball Championship, sponsored by Carlow University. It's here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
AstroTurf, a pioneer in sports surfacing, proudly supports high school athletics. Visit one of their 280 fields in the tri-state area to see their cutting-edge technology. AstroTurf's focus on R&D enables them to provide innovative surfaces that protect athletes and stand the test of time. AstroTurf now propels performance with iconic turf fields and legendary Recor-Tan tracks. They manufacture, build, and maintain a full range of turf and track systems for total quality control. Learn more at astroturf.com.
The team at UPMC Sports Medicine doesn't just rebuild wrists and knees. They build better athletes. Athletes at every level who want to get stronger and faster and prevent injuries. Fact is, no other sports medicine program in the region is more experienced when it comes to treating, training, and inspiring athletes. UPMC, the official healthcare provider of the Penguins, Steelers, and you. Find out more at upmcsportsmedicine.com.
North Allegheny could be just 8 game minutes away from repeating as the 6A champion in the WPIAL, holding a 62-34 lead over Peters Township. As we move to quarter number 4, Sean Meyers alongside James Dotson here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. I want to thank everyone involved to make this tremendous video broadcast possible, all the staff up here, as well as Josh Roundtree with some great interviews at the half with both head coaches. As Peters Township in possession to begin quarter number 4. Jump shot off the mark. That prompts a jump ball after Young's miss, and the possession arrow gives it to North Allegheny.
28-point deficit for Peters Township, and try to put on a little pressure, and just like that, North Allegheny breaks it right through.
Throwing the ball up, Martindale, now she is shaken up. That's not a good sign as Rachel Martindale goes down in a heap.
And as she went into the lane, it looked like she kind of got tangled up. The foul was called as a push from behind, as we'll check out the replay.
Gretsch with a good find to Martindale, and then Martindale went down hard. Bizignani, the freshman, charged with the foul, her first.
And she immediately grabbed for that right knee area. She jump stopped, and it looked like her body kept going forward. Legs really stuck, so tough to see, but she's getting looked at right now. Hopefully she'll be okay, as that's would be a tough loss, not only for today's game, as this one well controlled, but looking for down the road.
And potentially could put a damper on a likely championship celebration with the player Martindale down. We're going to take a break. 7:42 remaining in quarter number 4, 62-34 North Allegheny in the lead, but right now cause for concern for the Tigers.
People ask what drives me. It's the respect I have for my opponents, the trust I have in my teammates, a coach who treats me with dignity, and a university that has faith in me on and off the field. That's what keeps me focused, why I practice harder, play my heart out. I play to win. I play for Carlow. Tell us your story using #WhatDriveYou.
Carlow University is a proud sponsor of the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Inside the WPIAL Wrestling Circle every Monday at 7 o'clock on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Each week, we'll take a look at the latest happenings on the mat from around the WPIAL, talk with coaches, and get you set for what's to come as the season rolls on. Come out and see us every Monday as the show we broadcast live from 40 Bar and Grill just west of Washington on Route 40. Inside the WPIAL Wrestling Circle every Monday night at 7 o'clock only here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
A good sign for North Allegheny as Martindale able to make her way off the court, albeit very gingerly. James, it's always scary when a player goes down, and of course we will not likely know the extent of the injury by the time we sign off here tonight, but I don't think it's going to hurt them tonight for North Allegheny. The Tigers have already built a sizable lead of 28 and a chance to add to it, but certainly something that could really impact their run through the state playoffs.
Well, and especially when you have the issue of, she went down and she immediately grabbed for that leg, knee area, and that's, I think, what's really upsetting about that is I believe that's shooting for her. It is Courtney Roman who checks in as the shooter for the injured player.
So Roman, 1 of 2 at the stripe, making the score 63-34 in favor of NA.
Really been nice. Haven't had any significant injuries, any significant big issues through all of the first 11 championship games until that one right there.
Baseline jumper for Peters Township comes up short. Good effort by Bizignani to get on the floor and force the jump ball, and that'll allow the Indians to maintain possession. We talked about the freshman in Grench, but on the other side, Jordan Bizignani, also a freshman. She's not been nearly as involved, but getting a great learning experience tonight.
Oh, she has all throughout the course of the year, gaining that confidence and maybe get some confidence for down the road. She's got 3 more years to potentially make it back here to the Pete.
Young's baseline attempt off the mark. Rebound to North Allegheny. Just over 7 minutes remaining for the Tigers before the coronation. There's been a lot of tightly contested games this weekend. Is a good block that time by Marissa as the basketball out of bounds last off North Allegheny. This one will not likely go down to the wire like so many other games we've seen between Thursday, yesterday, and tonight.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things, too, that Peters Township was actually almost hoping for. If they can just keep it close for a while, they had a lot of experience in the close games, a lot more than North Allegheny had, and that was one of the things that Coach Kendall was really hoping for.
Pull-up jumper by Marissa off the mark. Battle for the rebound. It's a jump ball. Good job by Mills to get on the offensive glass, but we've seen the active hands all throughout by the Tigers defensively once again, forcing the alternating possession.
And to be able to reach in that quickly and get all ball and then to do it over and over and over again, been really impressive all night. And I don't know how
putting the brakes on Piper Morningstar, huh? Well, this is the first time we've seen some really ugly offense for North Allegheny as Gretsch lost the handle out of bounds for a turnover.
So that's their 5th turnover. On the other side, 7 right now for Peters Township. But what do we have going on here? We have them bringing the ball up the court, but they were waiting for some reason. They had officials timeout as they wanted to get Bizignani off of the court. I think that was just an officials timeout, maybe for a suspected injury as she makes her way and is immediately checked on by the training staff on the sideline.
Korcher checks in her place for Peters Township. Less than 6.5 remaining in quarter number 4. Good take by Young. Shot rolls off the rim, but Lillian Young to head to the charity stripe after the North Allegheny foul.
Young of the older batch, 3 seniors in the rotation for Peters Township. As you mentioned, the youth being served, a couple freshmen, including Korcher, who just checked in for the other freshman, Bizignani. Those 2 juniors, Marissa and Mills, have been the top scorers throughout most of this season. And with that experience, too, getting here and with a good chunk of your core back, obviously next year will look very good for the Lady Indians, but they still want to focus on this year. Still a lot of season ahead for them.
Young knocked down the first, hits the second as well. That makes it 63-36 in favor of NA. Serban enters the front court. I know that there's certainly more basketball to be played this season as the state playoffs will begin next week as Gretsch tripped up. In our recent history, you and I have been here for, I believe, now a combined 8 years with the network. Are we already looking at one of the best teams on the girls' side that we've seen?
Definitely up there with that Norwin team of a couple of years ago that we mentioned in the pregame show that went undefeated. But you also have to consider the Bishop Canevin dynasty as well over the course of those last few years.
How about Cardinal World North Catholic as well, adding another title as Morningstar, 2 more points to her resume tonight.
Plenty of options, that's for sure, but
Vincentian, that's another team that comes to mind.
How about North Catholic last year getting the boy-girl sweep, and this year it's Vincentian getting the sweep, and how about on the floor, a tackle on the play. Maybe next up is going to be Ziegler showing up for the football team.
Olivia Ziegler, more like Dolph Ziggler, the WWE competitor on that one. Now, I will say, win or lose, coaches always love to see effort from start to finish, and I think you're seeing the effort from Peters Township, even though the outcome likely already decided.
You know what? They were a little tentative at first, and you could even tell that in the interview with Coach Kendall. They were a little tentative, maybe not diving on the floor for every single loose ball, maybe playing a little bit, not scared, it's not the right word for it, but essentially just kind of being a little bit too reserved. And if you do that at all, especially against a team like North Allegheny, that's where you'll find yourself digging a deeper and deeper hole on the scoreboard.
Morningstar knocks down a pair of foul shots. Quick three-pointer misses everything by Marissa, as McKenna Marissa shaking her hand after that one.
Yeah, I think on the follow-through or maybe even on the shot as well, I thought the ball took a deflection off the shot. The officials are saying otherwise.
Rarely do you see her miss a shot like that. She has 17 points, about 6 below her season average, but it's been the secondary scoring that has dried up for Peters Township, and defensively the Indians have had almost no answer for North Allegheny.
No, and it's the balance again. You have 4 different players in double figures, and you have your fifth, Madeline Fisher, who's hardly had to touch the ball down low. When she has, she's passed it right back out. She has 4 assists, and she gets a chance right on cue there, Sean Meyers.
Beautiful finish from Fisher off of a great pass from Piper Morningstar. Fisher now up to 4 points, 69 on the board for North Allegheny. And the defense continues for the Tigers, tipping that one out of bounds. We still have just about 5 minutes to play, 4:55 to be exact in this one.
And we'll see when these teams maybe start going to their bench and give some players a chance to experience the Petersen Events Center here in the WPIAL Championships.
What a bounce pass by Morningstar. Mills' three-pointer rattled out. Battle for the loose ball, and Morningstar comes up with it. Now she throws to Serban ahead of the pack. One-on-one scenario. Bryn Serban to the cup, the hoop, and the harm. What a finish by Bryn Serban as she goes tumbling into the stanchion. She's quickly back up on her feet.
Well, Serban missed a handful of games, 12 or 13 actually, throughout the course of the season. Coach said that the team actually kind of sort of came together even more during her absence, and then when she came back, just as like an extra piece to the puzzle, and that she's been one of those players who's had a knack for coming off the bench and providing that spark, and you can see exactly why. On the floor a lot, goes to the rim, and able to draw contact and get the and one opportunity.
An offensive rebound on the missed foul shot by Piper Morningstar. And you mentioned, as Gretsch, another beautiful feed to Fisher. This time she can't get the shot to go, but will head to the line. You mentioned how that injury sort of galvanized North Allegheny. I'm sure that the players and Coach Stefko are hoping they don't have to do that again with Martindale.
No, hopefully not, and we wish the best for her as she went down with was an apparent right leg injury around the knee area, but she was able to walk up and get out off of the court under her own power, so that's definitely a good sign there to start, and hopefully we see her back playing in their next round in the state playoffs coming up.
The future Seton Hill Griffin Fisher converts both of her shots. Seton Hill, one of our great sponsors here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 73-36. More than doubling up the Indians is North Allegheny as a three-point shot misses everything on that attempt. That was Morgan Marissa taking that shot.
Getting some new young faces into the ball game.
Gretsch, she's a young face as a freshman, but still out there. Most of the starters are for North Allegheny. Serban, Morningstar, Roman, Fisher, and Gretsch. Morningstar drives and then spins back. Right now, this is an offense just ideally trying to run some time off the clock. And James, we talked about maybe the place the Tigers take in history. How about Coach Stefko and the great job that he's done? 4 championships in 5 years, 5 consecutive finals appearances, and most impressively doing it with 2 separate teams.
Oh, exactly, and you should be able to go and institute your program and your style immediately, and to that level of success. 2 championships with Seton LaSalle, and now 2 out of 3 with North Allegheny, and the other is a finals appearance.
Roman's 3 off the mark. Offensive rebound by Gretsch.
5 offensive rebounds for the freshman. I think she's making a case for player of the game. 18 points, 7 total rebounds, and 5 assists.
Morningstar to the cup. Fake on the pass, takes it herself off of glass for 2.
You know, that play is becoming almost a bread and butter if you want to be a successful player, to be able to have, not to drive the lane in the pass, but the fake pass, and to be able to lay it in yourself.
Bizignani, the freshman, can't get the shot to go underneath. Now a trio of Indians trying to force the issue, and a foul committed by Peters Township on Serbin.
And that's going to be free throws now at the other end for Serbin. And if she connects on one of the 2 of them, it'll be a 40-point advantage.
Bizignani commits the foul. It is the 10th team foul, which means 2 shots. So Bryn Serbin trying to enact the mercy rule, to your point, James. And the first one is good.
So that means once the clock starts running here after these free throws, it will not stop except for free throws or for timeouts, as we do start to see some players checking out. Lizzie Gretsch and Madeline Fisher out of the contest for NA.
Brooke Barsha onto the floor. She's a girl that has seen time in the regular rotation. Serbin hits the second as well. 77-36. Well, I think we all knew North Allegheny would be the favorite. I don't think anyone expected this, as Marissa drives and is fouled.
And again, it's not that Peters Township played a poor game tonight. I mean, 7 turnovers, that's not a bad number. Free throws, they're shooting well there right now, 5 of 6. It's just that North Allegheny has played lights out, start to finish, no doubt about it.
Marissa converts the foul shot, and a big round of applause for many of the Tigers checking out of this contest.
We'll try to get you updated as we go of who is in the ball game now.
Kat Baloris, I believe, has checked in, number 22.
Audrey Lane in there, Kristen Chomos in there.
And again, these are girls that have seen notable roles throughout the season for NA, a team that goes 10 deep at times, as Marissa hits both, making it now a 39-point deficit. Basketball tipped around and stolen by Peters Township. And now thrown out of bounds by the Indians for a turnover.
So 2:10 left to go as the clock will continue to run, as we're now in the mercy rule, and a nice bat out of bounds right away on the inbounds pass there for Peters Township. That was Lillian Young.
The fans starting to file in for the boys' 6A championship game. As another steal by Peters Township. Bizignani has it. Moves it across for a jumper. That shot is down for Marissa. Now Marissa steals it. Dishes to Bizignani, the and one. Well, it's certainly too little too late, but good effort here in the final minutes for Peters Township.
And that's all you can ask. You want to continue to work hard down the stretch as much as you can. And again, this is where you get better. This is where you say, hey, I don't care what the score is, whether it's a 1-point game or whether we're down by 50. You play hard the whole way through. Gotta love that if you're Coach Kendall.
And the freshman Bizignani, her first points of the night, the and one, makes the score 77-43.
Another steal on the inbounds.
And Marissa again. She's padding the stats here as a timeout taken on the floor. 77-45. It's not going to make much of a difference except for the final, and with the timeout, that gives us an opportunity to tell you something.
If you're a working professional ready to move up in your career, Seton Hill University has a program just for you. Seton Hill's adult degree program offers flexible undergraduate degree courses in areas like accounting, criminal justice, business, and human services. The adult degree program has 5 start dates every year and offers convenient course times, financial aid, a 96% placement rate, and career services for life. You can register for their next info session and learn more at setonhill.edu/ADP. Seton Hill University, this way up.
Reminder, we will have the medal ceremony live here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network on the postgame. James, we talked about the state playoffs and how that is next for these squads. I think it's safe at this point to pencil in North Allegheny as the victor here. We know it'll begin on Friday, March 9th. What are some of the scenarios for the WPIAL teams.
Well, the champions, North Allegheny, will take on the 5th place team out of the WPIAL, which will now be Upper St. Clair, based off of the follow the leader format. So with Peters Township in 2nd place, they will take on the 4th place team, Bethel Park. So 2 rematches right there.
Do you like that idea?
I do not, just because of the follow the leader being the reason for it. I think they could easily just mix those 2 up so you don't get rematches going in the state tournament. And
that'll be the 4th matchup between Bethel Park and Peters Township, by the way.
Oh, my. And it's tough enough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, as Peters Township has, but to possibly do it 4 times, even crazier. And real quick, the 3rd place team, Mount Lebanon, will take on Altoona, the 2nd place team out of District 6.
Tigers, for the first time all night, extremely sloppy with the basketball, but NA does get a defensive stop as Chomos brings it into the front court. Now the basketball tipped around and stolen by Peters Township. That leads to an easy layup for Marissa the other way, who's still out there trying her best.
Yeah, that pass trying to get it to Dana Manns, the 5'8 senior, just out of her reach.
And now ahead of the pack for 2 points, Capaloris for North Allegheny on the layup.
And a timeout just so North Allegheny can get some of their substitutes into the contest.
And Coach Stefko with high fives for his players.
See Mary Ivankovich in there, Olivia Whitaker in there.
Abby Glass as well. Yeah, the bench has emptied for North Allegheny as Marissa to the cup. Off of glass, a bit strong. Basketball tipped around. It's chased down by Mills. And then Mills fouled on her way to the cup.
Clock's still running until they complete the foul call.
It stops with 6.4 showing.
And 3 more Lady Tigers ready to check in and get a chance to say that they played in the WPIAL championship game at the Petersen Events Center.
First one rolls out for Isabella Mills. And really the reserves coming in, so much so that they're not even on our roster for the game day, as the second shot up and good. Mills makes 1 of 2, making it 79-48. As the final seconds tick off, shot up at the buzzer, it doesn't count. This one is final. North Allegheny, back-to-back champs, undefeated, a dominant 79-48 victory over Peters Township to win the 6A title.
Very impressive start to finish. Shots didn't fall early, but once they started going, they continued to make it rain over and over again. And it was a 13-point halftime advantage, and before you knew it, they were exceeding the mercy rule. And we've had some close contests. This one, unexpected. North Allegheny expected to win, not quite to this extent, Sean, but they just played lights out, start to finish. And there's a reason why they're the #1 team ranked in the state.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the score and recap, our final thoughts, and the trophy presentation. It's 2018 WPIAL Girls 6A Basketball Championship, sponsored by Carlow University. It's here. It's on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Trib Live has a little something for everyone. Sports from high school to the pros. News from across the street and around the world. Arts and entertainment. Lifestyles, opinion, weather, photo galleries, video. You can even find your next job, house, and car. So look alive, Pittsburgh, and get the news you want and information you need all in one place. TribLive.com. TribLive.com. News and more 24/7.
For a weekly in-depth look at boys and girls high school basketball in the district, log on to the WPIAL Round Ball Report every Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Join experts Chris Harlan, Sean Meyers, and James Dotson for coaches' interviews and the latest hoops news around the WPIAL. Oh, and Don Rebel is back on the show as well. That's the WPIAL Round Ball Report, Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Number 14, Jillian Stopper.
Runner-up, Peters Township, receiving the silver medals here at the Petersen Events Center. Sean Meyers, James Dotson on the call. 79-48, North Allegheny, the number 1 seed, remains undefeated, going to 25-0 on the campaign. Peters Township suffers its 4th loss, 21-4 for the Indians. James, let's quickly move on to the scoring recap. It's brought to you by UPMC Sports Medicine, powering a Stay Strong and Play On program with the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
We will start with Peters Township. Marissa McKenna led all scorers in the end, finished with 25 points. Did the 5'11 junior. A lot of those coming in the last 4 minutes of play. Next leading scorer with 7 was Isabella Mills. She also had 5 offensive rebound to her credits, did Mills. 6 points apiece for Lillian Young and Olivia Ziegler, and 3 points for Jordan Bizignani. For Peters Township, they committed 8 turnovers in the contest. On the other side, for North Allegheny, 7 turnovers to their credit, 18 points apiece for the senior Piping Morningstar and the freshman Lizzie Gretsch. Morningstar with a pair of threes, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc, and Gretsch 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, each of them going 4 for 4 from the charity stripe as well. 13 points apiece for Rachel Martindale and Courtney Roman. Roman had 4 3-pointers on the evening. Also wanted to mention Lizzie Gretsch led the way with 7 rebounds, including 5 on the offensive end. Finally, rounding out the scoring, 7 points for Bryn Servin, 6 for Madeline Fisher, and 2 for Audrey Lane for North Allegheny. Your points by quarter for Peters Township as they receive their silver medals and their silver second-place plaque. Peters Township 13, 10, 11, and 14 for 48 total. North Allegheny 23, 13, 26, and 17 for 79 total. A 79-48 victory for the Lady Tigers of North Allegheny.
That's the scoring recap, sponsored by UPMC Sports Medicine, powering the Stay Strong and Play On program with the Trib Live High School Sports Network. I also want to thank Carlow University, sponsor of our halftime interviews, brought to you by Josh Roundtree, as the Tigers now getting the gold medals, courtesy of head coach Spencer Stefko. 25-0, back-to-back titles, the first 2 in team history for North Allegheny. This team certainly put its name in the record books tonight.
Oh, definitely. When you can have an undefeated team, as we mentioned, first one in 3 years for the girls programs to have an undefeated streak through the WPIALs. That last team, Norwin, ended up faltering down the road in the state playoffs. So that's the next step now for North Allegheny. You got 1 gold medal. Now it's time to go and get another one to get out to Hershey. That path to Hershey will begin on Friday, as Sean mentioned, and it will be a rematch against Upper St. Clair. And just one step at a time. This is just amazing what Coach Stefko has done. Sean, you mentioned it. Last 5 years, 5 trips to the Pete, 4 championships and 1 silver medal. Very impressive.
And for the only drawback tonight, North Allegheny's Martindale injured. According to our colleague Josh Roundtree, she had her right knee heavily iced and unfortunately was in tears. I know she's certainly happy for her teammates, but you have to hope and pray that she's able to come back soon for this North Allegheny team as they try to make a run to the state title, which, by the way, they're looking for the first state title in program history, as they lost last year to Boyertown in the championship. As Coach Stefko giving out those awards, any final thoughts on this one, James?
Well, I will say this. Morningstar is out there. Martindale. I thought I saw her out there. Maybe I did not. I thought I saw her out there standing to get the gold medals. And if so, that's at least a good sign there. But we need to double check with that and see. But I think just really unbelievable performance all around for North Allegheny. The spread, the distribution of those points. Anybody can go off on any given night, and when you can get that from senior all the way down to freshman making plays. And we got to give the shout out to the Gretsch family. 2 gold medals for brother and sister with Dave and Lizzie Gretsch. Getting the gold, bringing it back to the Gretsch household.
Spencer Stefko. Well-deserved applause here at the Petersen Events Center. Want to again remind you that there's one more championship to be decided. We just crowned the girls 6A titleists. Next up, it'll be the boys. Penn Hills and Pine Richland slated for a 9 o'clock tip. We'll have that game as well. Our very own John Rebel and Steve Nagler on the call for that contest, as you see the trophy that awaits North Allegheny. The Tigers about to celebrate what became inevitable about halfway through quarter number 3 here tonight. NA's players going over to receive the trophy.
And undefeated finally stays undefeated, as the first 2 lost today, but maybe the bigger theme is repeat. Canterbury repeated, Newcastle repeated, now North Allegheny, the repeat champions in WPIAL Girls 6A.
All the girls getting in on the celebration now for the Tigers. What a campaign, and pretty darn good one as Petersen Township as well, James. They have a lot to be proud of.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing to hang their heads on at all, and now continue to move forward and get ready for the next step. Next step being the playoffs, and then going beyond that, beyond the state playoffs and looking into next season. But an unbelievable campaign for sure, some big-time performances, and nothing to hang your hat on. They ran into a really good North Allegheny team who played the game of their lives here tonight at the Pete.
That's going to do it from our broadcast colleague, James Dotson. This is Sean Meyers signing off. Once again, your final score, 79-48, North Allegheny, your 6A champions. You've been watching 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball Championship, sponsored by Carlow University. It's been here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
You have been listening to exclusive coverage of the 2018 WPIAL basketball playoffs on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, sponsored by UPMC Sports Medicine, home of the Stay Strong and Play On program, by Seton Hill University, This Way Up, by Excella Health, proud sponsor of the Trib High School Sports Network studios, by AstroTurf, by Carlow University, sponsor of the 2018 WPIAL Girls Basketball Playoffs, and by Trib Total Media. For updates on the path to the Pete, log on every day to tribhssn.triblive.com. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of the Trib Live High School Sports Network.